Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. This is the 19th edition of the Road to WrestleMania series. We'll review each and every WrestleMania, um, starting at 1 and ending at 41 on the road to WrestleMania, which ends on April the 20th, 2025. Here at WrestleMania 19, it is 2003, and the event takes place at Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington, on March the 30th, 2003. And I'm a senior in high school. I'm 18 years old. So I've basically grown up with professional wrestling and with WrestleMania. So now in our journey, we the NWO is no more. Shawn Michaels is back. Hulk Hogan was beaten up by Brock Lesnar, but now he's come back because SmackDown GM Stephanie McMahon brought him back. He came out on SmackDown in a legendary standing ovation with like 4 or 5 minutes of fans just cheering him and cheering him and cheering him. So different back then than what it is today in regards to the Hulkster. But somebody has a problem with that, and that somebody that has a problem with it is Vince McMahon. He recently came off a feud with his daughter Stephanie. They even had a crazy ass "I Quit" match between Stephanie and Vince, and he saying that he created Hulkamania, that he was responsible for Hogan's success in the 1980s, and that he felt betrayed by Hogan because in the trial of his life in the 1990s, Hulk Hogan testified against him. And Hulk Hogan left him when he needed him the most and went to WCW. And it was true. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't deny it. Even though Hogan was a babyface and Vince was a heel, I mean, the stuff that Vince was saying was really, really true. This is the infamous Hogan fuck up during a promo on SmackDown where he says, uh, "You thought I was just the right gay guy." he, he misses his lines because WWE now at this point is starting to use Hollywood writers rather than the traditional bookers that had always been seen in professional wrestling. Because Stephanie McMahon is taking an increasingly uh, more robust role in the backstage writing of the shows now. The theme for this is Limp Bizkit. They bring Limp Bizkit back. They wrote a song just for this called "Crack Addict," and they also during the Undertaker's match they also come out and perform his theme, which is cool. And as far as the WWE Championship, well, Brock Lesnar loses the WWE Championship to the Big Show at Survivor Series after Paul Heyman double crosses Brock Lesnar. And then Kurt Angle beats the Big Show. So Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar will take each other on at this event after Brock Lesnar wins a qualifying match for the Royal Rumble and goes on to win the Royal Rumble. So Brock Lesnar is a hell of a sensation. He wins the King of the Ring in 2002. He becomes the youngest WWE champion, and he also um, wins the Royal Rumble. Now, Kurt Angle is injured, right? He has a neck injury. He's had a neck injury since before he got into wrestling. He won the Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck, as he often reminds us. And he he almost doesn't make it. But a special needs fan, that's his neighbor, says, "Kurt, I believe in you, and I'm hoping to see you at WrestleMania." So because of this special needs fan, uh, Kurt Angle sucks it up and he makes it. Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble 2 has an incredible match with Chris Benoit, one of the most classic matches in history, really. Um, well, Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. But who doesn't have a classic match is Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, because one of the other signees, in addition to bringing Hulk Hogan to back to SmackDown. One of the others that gets swept up in this war between Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon between Raw and SmackDown is Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, the Big Booty Daddy, the former WCW champion, right before Booker T beat him before it closed. And him and Triple H have a pose down, and it eventually leads to a very horrible match between them at the Royal Rumble. Um, and this is Triple H's, like I said, reign of terror, going around terrorizing, no pun intended, all the former WCW talent. And one of the former WCW talents that he'll be taking on is Booker T. Now, the promos for this match are very controversial because the things that Triple H says are like real racist stuff. Like he's hinting, he says to Booker T, he says, people like you don't are only out here to do your little dance and entertain. You can never be great like me. You can never be the world heavyweight champion. Now, he says, you claim that you've been the champion of WCW, but WCW was a joke. Look, they had David Arquette as the WCW champion, making fun of Booker. So they started talking about Booker's history, being incarcerated, and they also started talking about the history of WWE wrestlers, black WWE wrestlers that never made it. They're bringing race. They're making race a huge issue of this build. So you're thinking, of course, Booker T has to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, right? Well, we'll see. Also, Shawn Michaels makes his return to WrestleMania. Chris Jericho comes out, starts berating Shawn Michaels, telling him that he's washed up. Shawn Michaels was once an idol of Chris Jericho, that Chris Jericho looked up to Shawn Michaels, that he patterned himself after Shawn Michaels. But now he has to put Shawn Michaels out to pasture. So he challenges Shawn Michaels to a match at WrestleMania. So there's a match set between those two. So you have Hulk Hogan on the card going against Vince McMahon in a street fight. Then you have Stone Cold Steve Austin, who comes back after taking his ball and going home. He has his third match with The Rock, which is a Raw main event. You have Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. You have Booker T versus Triple H. This card is stacked. And also, it's the WWE debut and the WrestleMania debut of Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, another wrestler who didn't come over after the buyout of WCW by the WWE, comes over now, and he wrestles Matt Hardy. The Undertaker was supposed to have a tag team match, himself and Nathan Jones. Now, Nathan Jones, many people don't remember, but he had a very short WWE career. In fact, he doesn't even make this match. It ends up being a handicap match between the Undertaker and the Undertaker taking on A-Train and the Undertaker in a handicap match against A-Train and Big Show, which of course he wins. But Nathan Jones later went on to Hollywood to star in the movie Troy alongside Brad Pitt. So how about that? Ashanti sings America the Beautiful. They're really, this is 2003. This is the era of Murder Inc. This is the era of 50 Cent. Hip hop is taken over. And one of the ways that we know hip hop is taken over is because John Cena appears in the pre-show of this event, rapping to two cardboard cutouts, battle rapping against two cardboard cutouts of rapper Fabulous and Jay-Z. Now, apparently, because Cena on Halloween in 2002, he comes out the Ruthless Aggression Cena goes the distance with Kurt Angle, earns the respect of the WWE roster, but then, uh, he's about to be dropped because he has a flavorless gimmick. But Stephanie McMahon and Paul Heyman hear him rapping on a bus during a tour of Europe, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you do that on TV, John?" And he does it, and it's a Vanilla Ice gimmick. Originally, it's taken as a joke, but it starts to really get over with the fans. So WWE wants to bring in Jay Z and Fabulous, but the Jay Z and Fabulous declined to perform at the event. So they just bring out two cardboard cutouts and have John Cena rap against them. So we'll be seeing a lot from Cena in a lot of the next installments coming up, but this is the beginning of John Cena's time in this series. So let's go through the matches. The Sunday Night Heat matches. Chief Morley and Lance Storm with the Dudley Boys defeat Kane and Rob Van Dam. Matt Hardy, who's the Cruiserweight champion with Shannon Moore, defeats Rey Mysterio, like I said. So crazy that Rey Mysterio, his first WWE match, he actually loses. The Undertaker defeats Big Show and A-Train. Trish Stratus defeats Victoria and Jazz by pinfall. So I'm pretty sure David liked that. A huge Trish Stratus fan. She gets the win there. Team Angle, which is Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, two other OVW graduates that Kurt Angle took on as his faction. They defeat Rhino and Chris Benoit, as well as Los Guerreros, who is Eddie Guerrero and his nephew Chavo. Shawn Michaels beats Chris Jericho by pinfall, which is an amazing match. Shawn Michaels is back, baby. Shawn Michaels' second run was better than his first run. This match was tremendous. It ends with Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels hugging, and Shawn Michaels getting kicked in the balls by Chris Jericho. Jericho and Shawn Michaels had amazing chemistry. They would revisit that chemistry 5 years later in 2008, which we'll talk a little bit about when we get to WrestleMania 24. Triple H with Ric Flair defeats Booker T by pinfall. Man, this shit pissed a lot of people off at school, I remember, because Booker was so close. He had freaking Triple H laid out, and he inches over, and Triple H kicks out, and then Triple H has him laid out for minutes upon minutes, and he manages to get the win. But anyway, Triple H retains. Fucking bullshit. Booker T should have won the World Heavyweight Championship at this event. Fuck that. Right? That's my opinion. Hulk Hogan defeated Vince McMahon by pinfall. Now, the stipulation to this match was that if Hulk Hogan lost, he would have to leave the WWE. He doesn't lose. What a fucking street fight this was. I mean, they bruised and battered each other like you would not believe. That infamous scene of Vince McMahon creeping up from under the apron with a complete bloody face, an evil face, man. And we get a guest appearance by Rowdy Roddy Piper, who comes in and turns heel and fucking nails David. I agree, David. In David's mind, he says Trish Stratus would have won her fourth back-to-back women's championship. She should have won the women's championship in her hometown at WrestleMania 18. I agree, David. She was shafted at WrestleMania 18. But what did you think about Booker T? What was your opinion there? Did you think that Booker T should have won, David, the World Heavyweight Championship? Or do you think they made the right call ultimately by having Triple H retain. Because that was the one that really caused a lot of controversy because of the way the angle was laid out. People wanted Booker, man. But Roddy Piper comes back. He's back on the scene. He interferes on behalf of Vince McMahon. He hits Hulk Hogan, turns heel. The rivalry is reignited between himself and Hulk Hogan. And Roddy Piper is back in the WWF, man. Whoa. I remember seeing Piper coming out of the audience and attacking Hogan, and I was shocked that night. But Hogan still wins anyway. But pretty soon we'll see the introduction of Mr. America and the one-legged wrestler Zach Gowen to the mix. Now, this next match, very interesting. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock 3. They remember Austin has never lost to The Rock. The Rock has never beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. They've had two matches, 17 and 15, and Austin has won every time. This time, no title at stake. But right before the event, Stone Cold Steve Austin is rushed to the hospital. He nearly almost dies. So he's decided after this, without telling anybody, after this will be his last match. So he decides to ride off in the sunset, putting over the wrestler that he was so closely linked and closely associated with in The Rock. The Rock takes his vest, delivers him to people's elbow, and then wins the match. Man, it was sad to see Stone Cold Steve Austin go, but you know, it is what it is. We'll be talking about him in other capacities. For example, the next installment, WrestleMania 20, will be about him as a referee of a very other infamous match. And we'll be talking about him when he goes into the Hall of Fame in 2009 at WrestleMania 25. And we'll be talking about him again when he does return after 19 years at WrestleMania 38 against Kevin Owens. But for now, goodbye, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for this series. And then finally, we get to Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle. Now, keep in mind, like I said, Kurt Angle almost didn't make it. You know, he was badly injured. But Brock Lesnar almost got injured in mid-match. In mid-match, Brock Lesnar, he probably has done this move a lot of times in OVW, goes for the shooting star press. He misses. He doesn't connect. The guy almost paralyzed himself. Go back and look at this. This looks like a fucking car wreck. That's how bad this was. But somehow, being the superhuman that he is, Brock Lesnar gets up and he wins the championship against Kurt Angle. And this was an amazing match. This was a great fucking match. This card was so star-studded, man. Like, people, of course, they talk about WrestleMania 17 as being the greatest, and we agreed with them on this channel, David and I. But if you want to talk about the second greatest, you want to talk about the second greatest, the most star-studded WrestleMania, in my opinion, has to be WrestleMania 19. You had Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock all on the card, the three most famous and biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling. John Cena does the pre-show. Stone Cold retires. Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. I mean, does it get any better than that? No. Shawn Michaels returned to the spotlight at WrestleMania. The Undertaker beating two opponents and riding off into the sunset with a most famous, iconic entrance down the aisle with a motorcycle. I mean, incredible, guys. WrestleMania 19. Now after this, Hulk Hogan will become Mr. America. Like I said, the whole thing where Vince McMahon is trying to prove uh, that he's really Hulk Hogan and not and that Mr. America is Hulk Hogan under a mask. He eventually gets frustrated with the WWE because of this stupid ass angle, and he leaves the WWE. And for a while, he goes to TNA, and they shoot an angle with him and Jeff Jarrett, but it goes nowhere. And Hogan is gone from wrestling until he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005 in Los Angeles. As far as Stone Cold Steve Austin, like I said, he's retired from wrestling for a while. He becomes uh, co-commissioners with Eric Bischoff, leading to the Redneck Triathlon at Bad Blood in 03. And, you know, yeah. David says WrestleMania 20 should not have been Undertaker versus Kane and Undertaker versus Vince McMahon. Yeah. Vince McMahon buried him alive, so that makes perfect sense, David. You're right. But we'll be talking about that the next installment. But yeah, I agree with David on that. Stone Cold Steve Austin will be the referee for the Goldberg Brock Lesnar match. Uh, Next installment at WrestleMania 20. But overall, I think this was a great show. I love this show. I know I go back and I'll go back and I'll still watch WrestleMania 19 to this day, man. But it didn't do so well. You know what I mean? It had the lowest buy rate of any modern WrestleMania. So, after the Attitude Era, after WrestleMania 14, it really had a low buy rate. It didn't do so well. Um, some people some people surmise that the reason it didn't do so well was because they didn't promote Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle on the poster. A lot of the posters promoted 20 years in the making Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. And people didn't really want to see, they were happy Hulk Hogan was back and everything, but people didn't really want to see two old guys, you, past their prime as main eventers. Of course, people didn't know that one NCAA wrestler and an Olympic gold medalist were going to actually have a real, semi-real wrestling match with a lot of back and forth, real wrestling moves at a time when MMA is 2 years away from exploding onto the national scene again. So they didn't know that. They didn't know that the main event was going to be Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. They thought it was going to be Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. You know, you know. So a lot of people didn't buy this pay per view, but I feel like this is a diamond in the rough. This show, because it had everybody. It had past and all the eras of WWE combined in this event. You had the new generation. You had the Attitude Era. You had the Ruthless Aggression Era. You had the Golden Era. All the eras were combined at this pay per view. This was the ultimate culmination of is, and what will become the WWE. So, um, I don't know, man. Fans were missing out on this. I love this one. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Brock Lesnar would remain the champion until finally losing it at No Way Out 2004 to Eddie Guerrero. And we'll be talking about that magical win of Eddie Guerrero's at No Way Out 2004 in California. With help from Bill Goldberg, because the night after WrestleMania, Bill Goldberg comes back to professional wrestling, challenged by The Rock, because The Rock is Hollywood Rock now. Heel Rock, Hollywood Rock. He's a Hollywood movie star, and he's resentful of the WWE audience. He comes back for a rematch at No Way Out 2003 against Hulk Hogan. Vince McMahon helps him, and he's on his heel run. And after he beats Stone Cold Steve Austin, he figures he has nobody left to beat. But who returns? Goldberg. Goldberg. And he spears the hell out of The Rock. And at Backlash, uh, it will be The Rock versus Goldberg. And Goldberg will be on a tear for the rest of 2003, even winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Not at SummerSlam, though, because when they wanted him to win, he loses in the Elimination Chamber to Triple H in biker shorts. Once again, Triple H, his reign of terror. But Goldberg will be at WrestleMania 20, and we'll be talking about his role in WrestleMania 20 in the next installment. But The Rock is pretty much out of there. You know, the guy that Hogan passed the torch to, the guy that Austin passed the torch to, is not going to be that torchbearer because he's becoming more and more famous in Hollywood. We'll see him again at WrestleMania 20 in a handicap match again with his Rock and Sock Connection partner Mick Foley against Evolution. The only time we get to see a little glimpse of what Ric Flair versus The Rock would have been like. Uh, at WrestleMania 20, but that's it. After WrestleMania 20, The Rock is gone from the WWE for years and years until WrestleMania 27, for 7 years. Uh, Hulk Hogan, like I said, leaves for 2 years, and Stone Cold Steve Austin leaves for 19 years. So WWE is in the rebuilding stage. They're putting the rocket behind Brock. Yeah, he did. Uh, he did, David, but unfortunately, he didn't win. He didn't win. He went on to win later. It sucked, man. Triple H, that reign of terror that Triple H had from '02 to fucking uh, '05 when Batista beats him at WrestleMania 21, which we'll be talking about in the 21st installment of this series. Man, spoiler alert. That reign of terror was brutal. He beat everybody. He beat Big Papa Pump. He beat Rob Van Dam. He beat Kane. He beat Goldberg. He beat Kevin Nash when Kevin Nash fought against him at Blood 03 in the inside the Hell in a Cell with Foley as the ref. You know, even Triple H even messed up Randy Orton's first push, which in '04, which we'll be talking about. But you know, that's it. So going into the end of 2003, we got Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion, Triple H as the World Heavyweight champion, and we'll see who wins the Royal Rumble. The next installment, 2004, WrestleMania 20. The WWE returns to Madison Square Garden. At 19 years old, I was there when I was 9. At WrestleMania 10, we talked about it. I'm there again at 19, and it was a magical, magical night. And today is the anniversary of that show. Well, yesterday was March 14th, uh, 2004. And it's a controversial night for many reasons. Chief among them, well, we'll wait till we get to that installment. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, David, for contributing. I always love when you add comments, bro, and your likes. Continue to like and comment. Continue to like, comment, and add your inputs. I love your inputs. You come up with the greatest, the coolest booking, booking ideas, bettering what Vince McMahon and WWE come up with sometimes that are shit. When we get to the more shit uh, WrestleManias, the shit results. Like, for example, when we get to WrestleMania 25, 9 installments from now, I'm sure David will disagree with the ending of Randy Orton versus Triple H at that one. Or when we get to like The Miz versus Cena in 2011 at WrestleMania 27. I'm sure David will disagree with that one. That was some bullshit as well. Yeah. But anyway, guys, look forward to the next installment, WrestleMania 20. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button. Soon my next video is coming out. Love you guys.